Hi, Matt Lucas, the owner of Core Fitness Camps and Training, and today we're going to do a little stretching and flexibility work. First, I'm going to begin by going on the ground. I'm going to start by using a mat or something that is comfortable to you. Here we are in my home gym, so I've got lots of space. I'm going to start with my legs in kind of a V position, okay? The wider you go, the more challenging it will be. You can make a judgment as to how wide your legs are based on your level of flexibility. To start, we're just going to take both hands and we're going to go in one direction to one leg. Now again, you choose the amount of flexibility that you have, so you can go to your leg, you can go to your foot and pull it towards you. That will exacerbate that stretch in your calf. Again, make sure you go in both directions. Again, your shin, your foot, both hands, whatever it is. I do this before I work out every day. You can do this, again, multiple times. So in this case, again, 5, 7, 8 seconds is probably sufficient. So again, this way you're getting your hamstrings, you're getting a little bit of your adductors, your groin. Okay, so go to each leg. I can go to both, right? One hand on each foot if that's possible, or again to your shin. And then I also want you to go right in the middle. So reach forward, nice and far, get that good stretch there, okay? Then I'm gonna bring my legs forward. So again, this is gonna be hamstrings, okay? Purely hamstrings. Now again, based on my height, which is not all that tall, I can reach my feet and my flexibility. Okay, if you're taller, maybe you just are able to reach your shins, and that's fine. Again, I can reach my toes. I'm going to pull them towards me so I get an extra stretch both in the hamstring and the calf. Okay, so again, nice gentle stretch. I can also get a little further if I'd like. Okay, then we're going to do a butterfly, which is also going to be for your groin. So you're going to bring your feet together so the bottoms touch. The flatter your knees and the closer your feet are to you, the more stretch you're going to get in your groin. Now again, your groin for many people is an area that doesn't often get a lot of work, and thus stretching it is really critical to the different movements that we can do lower body strength-wise and cardiovascularly speaking. Okay, so again, pull those feet close to you. I also kind of pull my toes up towards me, so I get a little additional stretch there. Okay, so nice stretch for your groin. Okay, then we are going to do what's called a hurdler stretch. So in this case, again, I'm going to kind of tip sideways. Okay. Now, when you do this, it's critically important that your toe is pointed down. So in other words, I don't want your foot flat, because what happens is people lean back and now I'm putting a lot of flexion on my knee. So keep your toe down, and thus I can only go so far. And what you're going to get here, again, because I'm in effect, even though I'm leaning back and pushing my hips forward, you're going to get a nice stretch right in that quad. Literally like a hurdler stretch for anyone who may have done hurdles when they were younger. Okay? So I'm going to get both my quad, and then what I can do is let my foot go out in the back. Now let it relax, and now I can reach forward and additionally get my hamstring. So it's nice because you can get multiple different components here, both the quad and the hamstring. Okay? All right, then I'm going to do a goalie stretch, which is also going to be for your groin. So I use the mat. That way, again, the medial portion of your knee or the inside is going to be on something that is soft. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hands on the ground, and I'm going to get my knees out wide, and I'm going to just drop my hips. Now, from this position, I can go both back and forward. And so what you do is you change the angle on those muscles. So here I'm getting a little bit more almost hip flexor, and here I'm getting a little bit more groin. So again, you can toggle between each of them. I can also lean directionally a little bit more to one side or the other side. Again, the more upright you are, the more challenging this gets to be. Something that, again, you can do very easily in multiple places. All right, so you're just going to do a goalie stretch. Similarly, again, if you find that to be too difficult, right, you can do just a deep sumo squat. So in this scenario, again, you could use, like I have here, a TRX. You could use a resistance band with some level of leverage or hang on to something. So feet wide, toes out. I'm going to go nice and deep. And in my case, I put my forearms on the inside of my knees. Now my torso is fairly upright. In other words, what I don't want you to do is bend over like this, because then you're putting undue stress onto your lower back. Keep your torso upright, my weight's in my heels, and I'm going to get my groin there. Okay? Nice and easy. All right. Then we are going to do a little hip flexor stretch. Okay? So generally speaking, based on how sedentary most people are, hamstrings and hip flexors are your two tightest muscle groups. So as a result, it's important that we do some work, both strength training as well as stretching and flexibility wise. Okay? So what I'm going to do here initially is I'm going to, again, be in kind of a split knee position. As you can see, I'm pushing forward, and as I come back, I'm still pushing forward. So now this stretch is now more in my quad. As I come forward, it's going to move up into my hip flexor. So again, you can do that X number of times, do it on both legs. And what you may notice is from leg to leg, there may be a difference. Anytime we do anything bilaterally, you may notice a difference from side to side. And not surprisingly, you can also get a bonus hamstring stretch here. So now your toe is up, reach down, grab that shin or grab that toe, and you can get a nice hamstring and calf stretch here. Okay? So again, hip flexor stretch. Okay? Then what I'm going to have you do, we are going to grab, in my case, I'm going to grab a resistance band. Okay? So just a standard resistance band. If you have a different kind of a band, that will absolutely work. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay down. I'm going to put one leg. In my case, I double up the band. If you prefer to single it up, that is absolutely fine. It doesn't make a big difference. Okay? So again, I'm going to kind of close this gap here so the gap is not very big, so hopefully it won't slide off my foot. Okay? My head is neutral. I'm going to pull this up towards me, and therefore, again, I'm going to flex my foot, so I get a stretch right in the hamstring and right in my calf. Okay? From here, I'm going to bring my hand out, again, my right leg and my right hand. I'm going to bring it out wide, so now I'm getting my groin. And even though I'm pulling it down towards the ground, I'm also pulling it up. Okay, so you're going to get both your groin and your hamstring in here. Then I'm going to go back to neutral, and I'm going to switch hands. And now in this scenario, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go at about an angle towards my shoulder directionally. So again, I'm pulling up and at an angle. You don't have to get real far. Again, you don't need to do any of this stuff. Keep your hips on the ground. So now you're going to get what's called your IT band, your iliotibial band. So again, right on the side of your thigh, which for most people is going to be quite sensitive. Okay? So again, make sure you do each leg. Again, I'll face forward here. So now I'm going to be here. Again, flex my foot so I get that hamstring and calf. Okay, then I'm going to go out wide. Get the groin. Again, and I can change that angle based on whatever level of flexibility I have. I'm going to go back up, switch hands, go across. Again, you can see I'm not going real far. Again, I'm not doing any of this stuff. You don't need to do that. Just right there, and you're going to feel that on the side of your thigh. Okay, so that gets your IT band. All right? Good. So that's a few lower body stretches. Now we're going to address a few upper body. Okay? So now what I'm going to have you do, again, real basic. We're just going to start with some arm circles. You can start smaller with the circles, progressively get larger, both forward and likewise in reverse. Again, start small, progressively get larger, just nice and gentle. Okay, good. All right, and then we're going to go overhead. I'm going to grab my elbow. Again, I'm going to slightly lean. So I'm getting both my tricep as well as my posterior deltoid on the backside of kind of your shoulder, and then your lat, right? The latissimus dorsi, which is that largest muscle group in your back. So from this angle, again, I'm tipping just a little and getting a nice stretch there. Again, hold it 5, 7 to 8 seconds, give or take. Just a nice gentle stretch. Okay? Good. Then I'm going to go across our body. So again, I'm just on the top of my elbow, so towards my tricep, going across my body. Okay? And in this case, you're going to get your rhomboid, which is basically where your shoulder blade is. Okay? So again, right in front, cross that over, again about parallel to the ground. Just a nice gentle stretch. Same thing on the other side. Nice gentle stretch. Good. All right. And then the last couple that we are going to do, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around. I'm going to bring my arm back behind me, okay? So this is going to stretch some of those muscles of your rotator cuff, okay? So from this position, again, retract those shoulders, right? Try to get that hand up, all right? Now for some people that's going to be hard, right? And even in my case, you notice I have a bit of a difference from hand to hand, or from arm to arm, okay? And that's fine. Where my hand ends up is a little bit different, right? And some of that's based on athletics, experience, etc. That's okay. Even if it's down here, that's okay. Again, you're going to stretch some of those smaller muscles of your rotator cuff and your shoulder, which is really, really important. So again, feel free to give these exercises a try. They're not real complicated. They don't take too long, but they'll have great benefit.